Understanding minimal order quantities, what new brands need to know. I almost gave up on my fashion brand before I even started. Every manufacturer I contacted wanted me to order 500 pieces per style. I didn't have $15,000 to spend on inventory. I wasn't sure it would even sell. Today, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about MOQs, what they are, why they exist, and how to work with them when you're just starting out. I'm Willie Austin, and after my fashion brand failed, one of the biggest lessons I learned was about minimal order quantity. Understanding MOQs can be the difference between starting out the brand with $5,000 or needing $50,000. By the end of the video, you'll know how to handle MOQs, negotiate with manufacturers, and start without losing quality. What is an MOQ? Okay, let's start with the basics. MOQ stands for minimal order quantity. It's the smallest number of units a manufacturer would make for you in a single order. So if a manufacturer has an MOQ of 300 pieces, that means you need to order at least 300 units for them to even start making your product. You can't just order 50 and see how it goes. And here what trips people up, that MOQ is usually per style, per color. So if you want a t-shirt in like 3 colors, black, white, or gray, and the MOQ is 300, you're not doing 100 of each color. You're doing 300 of each color. That's 900 total units. Now, this is why new brands get shocked. You think you order a small test run and suddenly you're looking at thousands of pieces and tens of thousands of dollars. Why MOQs exist? You might be thinking, why do manufacturers even have MOQs? Why can't they just make 10 pieces for me to test the market? Here's the reality. Making products has setup costs that are the same whether you make 10 pieces or 1,000 pieces. The manufacturer has to buy your fabric, set up the machines, create patterns, train workers on your design, and do quality checks. All of that costs money and takes time. Now, if you're only making 10 pieces for you, they're losing money on the setup cost. They'll have to charge you hundreds of dollars per piece just to break even. And you're not even going to pay $300 for a t-shirt and that you're trying to sell for what, $50. So MOQs exist to make sure the manufacturer can cover their costs and still make a profit at a fair price per unit. The bigger the order, the lower the cost per piece. That's called economics of scale. An order of 50 pieces might cost $30 per unit. An order of 500 pieces might cost $15 per unit. Same as that product, but you're paying half the price just because you ordered more. Now, this is why big brands can charge less than you. They're ordering 10,000 pieces and paying $8 per unit, while you're ordering 100 pieces and paying $25 per unit. Typical MOQ ranges. So what are typical MOQs? This varies a lot by product type, manufacturer location, and quality level. For cut and sew garment, things like t-shirts, hoodies, pants, US manufacturers usually have MOQs of 100 to 300 pieces per style. Higher quality or harder designs might need, I'll say, 500 to 1,000 pieces. Overseas manufacturers, especially in China, India, Bangladesh, often have higher MOQs, 300 to 1,000 per piece of style at minimum, but their prices per unit are usually lower. For simple items like accessories, hats, bags, basic jewelry, MOQs can range from 50 to 500 depending on how custom you want them. For print on demand or screen print on blank garments, you can sometimes get MOQs, I say as low as 1 piece, but you're paying per unit. Here's my experience. When I was starting out, I found a US manufacturer willing to do 150 pieces per style with 2 colors. That meant 300 total units. At $25 per hoodie, I was looking at $7,500 just for one product. And that's even before shipping duties or any other costs. I didn't have that kind of money, which is why understanding MOQ options became so important. How to start with low MOQs. If you don't have $10,000 to $20,000 to spend on inventory, you have several options. Option 1, find manufacturers that work with small orders. These exist, but you'll pay more per unit. There are manufacturers who work with startups and have MOQs of 25 to 100 pieces. You might have to pay 30 to 50% per piece, but you're not stuck with tons of inventory. Option 2. Start with print on demand or blank garments. Companies like Printful, Bella Canvas, or American Apparel offer blank garments you can add your designs to with printing or embroidery. MOQs can be as low as 1 piece. The downside, limited options and higher cost per unit, but it's a great way to test the market before you commit to a full production. Option 3, share orders with other designers. Some manufacturers will let you split an MOQ with other brands. So if the MOQ is 300 and you only want 150, find another designer who wants 150 and place one combined order. This take coordination, trust, but it's possible if you talk to them. Option 4, start with fewer styles and colors. Instead of launching with 5 different products and 4 colors each, launch with 1 product and 2 colors. That's way easier to manage financially. I've seen too many new brands try to launch with 1 full collection. Tops, bottoms, accessories, multiple colors, and they end up spending $30,000 to $50,000 on their first order. Then they can't sell it all and they're stuck with dead inventory. Start small, prove demand, then scale up. Negotiating MOQs. Here's something most people don't know. MOQs can often be negotiated, especially if you approach it the right way. Manufacturers set up MOQs based on their business model, but they also want your business. If you can show them you're serious and plan to grow, many will work with you on your first order. Here's how I approach the conversation. First, don't lead with, can you lower your MOQ? Lead with building a relationship. Ask about the process, their quality standards, their typical clients. Show that you've done your research and you're a professional. Second, explain your situation honestly. I'm launching a new brand and I love to work with you long term. For my first order, I'm looking to test the market with a smaller run. Is there any flexibility on the 500 piece MOQ for a first time order? Third, offer something in exchange. Maybe you're willing to pay a bit more per unit for the lower MOQ. Maybe you can commit to a second larger order if the first one sells well. Maybe you're flexible on timing and can make your order during their slow season. Fourth, ask about their sample minimums separate. Sometimes manufacturers have high MOQs for full production, but lower minimums for samples. You might be able to order 50 samples at a higher price, test the market, and then commit to the full MOQ later. I negotiate MOQs down from 500 to 200 pieces by explaining my situation, being flexible on timing, and agreeing to a higher cost per unit. Not every manufacturer will budge, but many will if you approach it professionally. The real cost of MOQs. Let's do some real math so you understand what you're actually committing to. Let's say you want to make a hoodie. MOQ is 300 pieces across 2 colors, 150 black, 150 gray. Production cost is $28 per piece. 300 pieces times $28 equal $8,400 just for production. But that's not your total cost. At shipping from the manufacturer, maybe $600. Import duties if overseas, another $1,200. Packing material, $300. Photography for marketing, $500. Your total upfront investment is over $11,000 before you sold a single hoodie. Now let's say you priced that hoodie at $95 retail. If you sell all 300 pieces, that's $28,500 in revenue. To track your $11,000 in cost, you got $17,500 in gross profit. Sounds great, right? But here's the reality. you're probably not selling all 300 pieces right away. Maybe you will sell, let's say 100 in the first 3 months. That's 9,500 in revenue against 11,000 in costs. You're still 1,500 in the hole, and you'll have 200 hoodies sitting in your apartment. This is why cash flow kills new brands. You spend all your money on inventory that's sitting unsold while you wait for customers. MOQs force you to think about inventory management, storage costs, and how long your money is tied up in products. MOQs in multiple products. One of the biggest mistakes I see new brands make is trying to launch with too many products at once because they don't understand how MOQs add up. Let's say you want to launch with 3 products, a t-shirt, a hoodie, and sweatpants. Each has a MOQ of 200 pieces. Each comes in 3 colors. That's 3 products times 3 colors times 200 MOQs equal 1,800 total pieces. If your average production cost is $20 per piece, you're looking at $36,000 just for production, and adding all the other costs, you're easily over $45,000 for your first order. Most new designers don't have that kind of capital, and even if you do you really want to risk $45,000 on products you haven't tested with real customers? My advice: start with 1 product, 2 colors maximum, prove you can sell it, build some revenue, then expand your product line. I mean, honestly, it's not sexy at all. It's not the big launch you probably imagine, but it's doable and realistic. Understanding MOQs is important to starting a fashion brand without going broke. They exist for real business reasons. They vary by manufacturer and product type, and they're sometimes negotiable if you approach it right. The key is being realistic about what you can afford and smart about how you use your limited capital. Don't try to launch a full collection if you only have $10,000. Start small, test demand, and scale up. What question do you have about MOQs? Have you run into challenges negotiating with manufacturers? Drop a comment and let me know. If this video helped you understand how to handle MOQs, subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down exactly how to negotiate better terms with clothing manufacturers, including payment terms, quality control, and contracts. Remember, every successful brand you see started with their first production run. You don't need to order 10,000 pieces to get started. You just need to be smart about the pieces you do order. Bye.